Seriously. Right? I mean, we have the worst obesity and diabetic epidemic in world history. In America is by far the worst. That's the food pyramid that is on their website. This is the CDC. This is NIH. These are the public health agencies actually saying that you should have 1 to 2 servings of high quality meats per day and 6 to 8 servings of breads, pastas, and rices per day with a straight face. Like at this point, it's a Saturday Night Live episode to me.
So I want to back that up with tip number 2, right?
Yes.
So how do you navigate this messed up system? And you know, I've talked about this before, Andrew, and when I told you this, you were like, that's actually quite smart. When you go into a grocery store, understand that everything you want to put in your mouth is on the outside. So typically when you walk into a grocery store, you turn right, what do you have? Got the produce section.
You're going to go, well, depending on, you're going to have produce around the edge, meats in the butcher around the edges, some dairy around the edges, and eggs. Yeah, they're going to hug the edges of the refrigerated stuff, right? I'm thinking when I went to Sprouts the other day, that's what I was doing. Right along the edges and a couple little pivots to the middle to get a few auxiliary things. But you're right. The middle is mostly the processed boxy stuff.
That's where the middle is your fast track to diabetes and fatness.
That's right.
Stay away.
That's true, man.
From the middle zone.
Here's a big problem I have also, Aaron, is you said a second ago, which is a good point, is how do you navigate this? The first thing I do, and I talk about this a lot, I'm beating a dead horse at times, is you've got to figure out where there's not a business model tied to the food source. So the industrial complex thing is something that I study and write about quite a bit. So the food industry is the largest industrial complex in the world. So you've got to figure out who's funding a lot of this, right? Where's the funding? I always follow the money. Who's funding a lot of this, right? So when you look at like the attack on meat right now, people don't realize that good quality, well-sourced red meat, I'm not talking about red meat that you buy at Walmart for $2 per, right? Source matters, right? Grass-fed, untouched, grazed, pasture-raised meat, pound for pound, Aaron, piece of steak, we'll use your hand example. Let's call it a 6-ounce piece of steak. Is by far and away, let's call it your fist. That's about a 6-ounce filet, okay? Yep. Maybe a 7-ounce filet. That is pound for pound the most complete, the most healthy, quality food you can put in your body, bar none. I don't care who's vegan, who's vegetarian, all the power to you. There's never been data that could even, there's not even a close second for a good quality piece of well-sourced grass-fed red meat. Right behind that is eggs, good quality pasture-raised eggs. These are the most complete foods in the world. All the cholesterol, all the fat, all the protein is all high quality, and it actually is better for your blood cholesterol levels than not. There's a huge ploy against the meat industry to make way for the fake meat industry, right? Like we talked about earlier. So you've got to really look at source, in my view, and you've got to figure out is do any of these food companies, are they an industrial complex? Are they owned by pharma in a lot of cases? Are they funded by lobbying groups? Or are they just good old-fashioned regenerative farmers, family businesses, people businesses, and entrepreneurs making good food? That, to me, is the big thing, is when you're looking for, okay, is this healthy for me? Should I buy this? Who's behind it? I mean, it's a shame that it has to get that granular, that we've got to figure out before we decide we want to buy this new pancake mix